Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Angel Zarian, and I'm doing an empty studio show today to kind of keep it in line with everything that's happening in the world. With me via satellite, Rich, the big virus Stambolian.
Ooh, my guy. What's up? What's going on?
Rich is at his house, which is like 5 minutes away from me,
Mhm.
and I'm here in my studio. This is a crazy world we're living in right now. Um, I guess I'll talk about it now, right? I was quarantined because I tested negative for the flu and I had all the symptoms of this bizarro disease. And I now, I took the test and I was quarantined for a week and now I tested negative, obviously. That's why I'm here with you guys. I probably would have still done the show if I didn't test negative, but we got to talk about wrestling. We got to talk about something other than quarantine, right, Rich?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could go on and on about our conspiracy theories and exactly what we think is going on, but let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about how crazy it is to do a show at the empty performance center. Number one. Number two, how the Steve Austin thing was weird. It's a lot of weirdness, and I'm getting a kick out of it. I don't know about you.
Oh, it's a ton of weirdness. So what did you watch yesterday?
I watched Raw yesterday. I thought I thought I think learning from Friday night's SmackDown, where they were like, all right, some of this stuff isn't working. Let's start the show with Edge, and then you know what? F it, just play the Royal Rumble, and then we'll do something else.
You know what happened? I didn't know that's what they were doing. Uh, I I was like, what? I wonder what they're doing right now because I turned away
Hmm.
and there was a Royal Rumble and I'm like, oh, okay. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do like a little highlight summary of this,
Hmm.
to kind of tell people what happened. Just a recap. They ended up playing the whole entire Royal Rumble. I watched most of it, and you know what? I my takeaway was, holy crap! I forgot how great the Royal Rumble was.
It was pretty excellent, I gotta say. Like, my wife, who like your wife, it doesn't care for wrestling, but she likes stuff that's a little wacky sometimes. So Friday and last night, she was like, "Oh, that's so crazy that they're doing it from the empty, tiny performance center." And we ended up watching a chunk of the Rumble, and same thing, man. I was like, "Yo, this was a really good Rumble," and we did the watch along for it, right?
We did do the watch along.
And I remember like missing certain things because I think we were getting a little out of hand with the alcohol and just yelling over stuff. But it was a fun
You
one,
speak
man.
for yourself.
No, you were three sheets to the wind. Also, you kept
Oh
taking
yeah.
your peach peach out.
I did. I did take my peach out multiple times.
What did you think? What do you think of the empty arena?
It's bizarre. It's really weird. And you know what's
Mhm.
interesting? So like the Edge promo worked so well in that empty building.
Yeah.
It was just my God. He looked at the camera and he
Hmm.
cut a promo, and it was emotional, and it wasn't yelling. He was speaking with like a lower voice. He did it the right way, right? And you could tell the generational shift in how they
Hmm.
were trained. And then you have Becky Lynch that came out there, and she's looking at the crowd and she's holding the
Hmm.
belt to the crowd. Where I mean that really kind of shows you the difference in training, right? Everything that they do now is for the crowd, is for the audience. And
I'll,
it was evident with the way that the older generation kind of works and the younger generation works.
I agree with that 100%. And two good examples of that are let me touch on the Edge thing. Number one, this dude's been an actor for the last 10 years, so he was really showing his craft right there. You know, from being on Haven to being on Vikings and all that stuff. The second part comes in big time because if you watch that Sasha Bailey match from Friday night, it looked like a scripted tryout match of okay, at this point in the match you look at the crowd, at this
Yeah.
point in the match, and since there's no crowd it's just a little weird. The Cesaro Dana Bryan match from Friday was awesome. These dudes would beat the shit out of each other in an empty garage down the street if they could, right?
Yeah.
uh, Austin hitting the four corners looked natural even though there was nobody in
Yep.
that place. He was popping himself, you know. How'd you feel about the Byron thing with Austin?
I'm gonna tell you, I hated that entire segment. The whole thing
Why?
sucked. It was just awkward. I got what they tried to do, and it has nothing to do with Austin. I get what they were doing.
Mhm.
It came off. There's no reaction. There's
Right.
nothing. So that whole thing was feeding off of a reaction. Austin reading those lines would have been great moments for what.
Mhm.
The pause, the pop. I mean, it was kind of hindered with that, but I mean, he did the best that he could.
Yeah, but he's also like, I feel like he's one of those guys that he just does. He'll do it regardless. He's a company guy. He's not gonna feel weird. Oh, the other thing I want to ask you about, uh, how weird. Again, this is it's so bonkers, but I've been loving this. I'm not gonna take a poop on it. How bizarre was it to see the Undertaker in that situation at the Performance Center?
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the Undertaker coming out. He was Biker Taker, right? He was kind of
He
like
was
Biker
do rag.
Taker.
He was do rag
He was
taker.
wearing a do rag on his head. He came out. I've never seen that man walk down the aisle that fast in my life.
Oh my
He
god,
just
so embarrassed.
sprinted down the aisle. He
Mhm.
goes in. He's half dressed. He has his sling out, done, like it's below him. He's wearing the
Mhm.
hat, and he has his
He's
hair
got
in a
his
braid. He
Spanx.
comes out. He doesn't say a word. He looks like King, and he flips the table. They go to a commercial break,
Mhm. And then
and they
they
come
show when
back.
they yeah, when they came back, they showed up an entire promo of the AJ Styles stuff, and
Yeah,
he was in the ring the whole time, right?
he was in the ring the entire time, just looking at nothing. And then
Uh,
AJ cuts a promo, and for some reason they've humanized Undertaker.
yes,
Like he's not the Undertaker now. He's just a guy that's married, that's old,
in a do rag.
in a do rag. And
Mhm.
this is so bizarre that they pulled that curtain back a little bit, and this has to be a Paul Heyman thing, to kind of break pull back the curtain more and humanize Undertaker and be like, yeah, he's the dead man, but it's a character, and this guy's married to Michelle McCool,
Who's like a
and
gold digger?
who's a gold digger. This is just really, I don't know. I don't dislike it. It's just really weird to see the Undertaker in that position in 2020. Now,
I think this is the debut of his new character, which is a undead guy wearing a do rag, and he's gonna call himself Duragula.
Duragula.
Yeah.
Oh my god! You know what? I would love him to do the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, but just go by say it again.
Duragula.
Duragula. There you go. Duragula.
That's a copyright pending on Duragula,
Yeah,
guys.
I love it. I love it. I know that
It
people are
was weird.
watching. I know that people that are watching live, they're having a lot of issues with the feed.
Mhm.
So I think we're just going to continue here. I think I'm having
Cool.
internet problems right now.
You got your internet got the coronavirus.
You got the coronavirus, so we'll just chug through and hopefully re-air this later. Um, so I don't know. It was bizarre. Did you watch SmackDown? Because SmackDown was even weirder.
I did watch SmackDown, and it was very bizarre because what did they do? They did an
It
opening
was an
two
empty.
segments,
It
and then
was
they did the
empty.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, yeah. And the best part was Triple H being awkward and acting like a dick the whole night.
Yeah, not for nothing. People take such a dump on Triple H, but if it wasn't for him and the idea of the Performance Center, WrestleMania would not be saved this year.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I mean, should they do WrestleMania? Here's the news, guys. WrestleMania will be live from the Performance Center. I have no idea why they would do it that way. I'm envisioning they're gonna green screen an audience and pipe in sounds. I mean, I kid you not. I think that's what they're gonna end up having to do, because doing WrestleMania in front of nobody in an empty building
Mm.
makes zero sense to me.
I got an
Zero.
idea.
Yeah.
I got an idea. You want to hear my idea?
Yeah.
I hope people can hear my idea also. It's a good idea. I think they should have Xavier Woods' show Up Up Down Down recreate WrestleMania, and that should be the feed where instead of AJ and Undertaker going at it in the Performance Center, it should be AJ and Undertaker playing each other uh, in like the last 2K video game,
Yeah, maybe why don't they do that?
like an esports kind of thing. Or a really close friend of mine yesterday suggested that they have carte blanche now with a lot of this stuff. And wouldn't you want to see a pre-taped like match of AJ versus Undertaker in a friggin' graveyard?
I mean, why not do that? Why not do that?
Right? Right? That would
Uh,
be pretty cool. They have the money, right?
they could do it. I'm willing if they are gonna have any kind of audio, because the story coming out is that this isn't gonna be WrestleMania is not gonna be presented in the same way that this show was. Raw and SmackDown have been.
Right.
So the only thing I could think of is they're gonna these freaking people are gonna attempt to green screen an audience and make them look like they're in a building, like in an arena
I
somehow.
think I think that would be hysterical.
You know what they should do?
Uh,
They should just green screen the audience from No Mercy.
the video game
Those polygon figures, yeah, the polygons at 1 frame a second.
with like the big thick hands.
Yeah.
I think they should just show the Royal Rumble again.
What if they just showed last year's WrestleMania? How many people would watch it and not know?
All right. So what happens now? Like, does WrestleMania? Um, do people get their tickets refunded? Like, what's the deal? Is this
Yeah.
a big? Is this a loss for the company?
Oh yeah, it has to
Uh,
be. I mean, it's a
is
$60 million revenue event. And generally the cities that WrestleMania is hosted in make about 200 to $300 million in revenue. So this is a loss all across the board, top to bottom.
um is it at all possible that the Saudis will turn around and say, "Listen, private jets have WrestleMania here"?
I don't know. I was thinking that. Is it possible to do it in Saudi Arabia? Do you want to risk your staff from getting sick in another country? I know that UFC right now is kind of in the same boat, and they canceled multiple shows. The next 3 shows are canceled.
Mm,
And they are potentially looking at another country to put to put one of their big events that they're gonna have that was supposed to be at Barclays. So they're scouting different. I mean, where are you going to put it? Where has this disease, this virus, not affected? I mean, that's something you got
Canada?
to. No, Canada's going to be impacted the same exact way as I mean, all in North America, South America is going to be impacted. So, what are your options left? You know, you
Hawaii,
really, I guess you could go to a secluded place, but
Samoa.
I don't. I think doing WrestleMania in the Performance Center is a big mistake. I think they should have delayed it.
Mhm.
They don't want to do that, and it's very obvious that this is now becoming a financial call as in not canceling it. They
Okay.
want to be they're looking for some sort of insurance compensation for the loss, which a lot of people are also going to be looking into for
Okay.
events and things like that. Um, I Somebody was saying that they're most likely because a person put I saw this guy write about this. He goes, I host large events in a lot of states, and the way that it works is that if there is a natural disaster, and some contracts say that you need to show that you are relocating your show in
Mhm.
order to get the compensation. It can't just be a total
Interesting.
like, well, I give up, I'm not doing it. So this is not great. Uh, Listen, this is not great for anybody right now. I'm in New York City, and we are I mean, this is a once in a lifetime thing. We lived through 9/11. We lived through Sandy, uh, and I don't think any of us have ever experienced anything to this capacity, to this level when it comes to uh just social changes. You know,
Let me tell you
I
something.
work. Yeah, go ahead.
So, again, this is one of my other side theories, but this has more to do with just like the human routine. So, every year, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, every year we have that one major snowstorm that shuts everything down for like a week, right?
Yeah,
This is this year's snowstorm.
yeah,
You know, it's the same thing. People are
but
going
it's not a
crazy.
week. It's not a week.
Right. They're
It's long. It's like a month.
unnecessarily cleaning out the shelves, unnecessarily scooping up all sorts of nonsense, panicking, stocking up at home. Listen, we still have running water. Like supermarkets are stocking for food. I think people are going a little too nuts with it. And like,
Yeah.
like how many people do you know that are panicking right now?
this is gonna kind of veer off, and we're gonna get back to wrestling, but I think this is kind of important to talk about, right? Like, I'm not a doomsday guy, okay?
Right.
I'm not one of these guys. So for me, this is bizarre. This whole concept is bizarre because and I'm not looking for a debate, obviously, and so I'm not even going to engage with any kind of discussion or argument online over this. But this is how I see this. We are faced with these issues regularly. So the flu, for example, kills about 60,000 people, right?
Right. A year.
A year. Pneumonia kills about 30,000 people.
A day.
Swine flu was devastating across the world. So there were the reaction to these illnesses have not been what this is. So my theory is, and this is how I'm seeing it, either we are in a total lack of competence from authority, from the higher powers, I guess, in government. We are, or they are very aware of the threat that this virus causes, and we are not, and we're not really, I'm sorry, and they're not really releasing any of this information. They know something that we don't, or C, this is just to see what happens. They're using this as an excuse for a larger threat.
When are we going to do our conspiracy theory show?
Now, right now.
All right, guys.
So listen, it's only going to get better. This is expected, and I'm going based on what I've read and what I've seen. This is only going to get better. They've done a quarantine of sorts here in New York, where local businesses, restaurants, bars, places that people could gather, you cannot go. They're shut down. Millions of people are going to be unemployed. I don't know how the city's going to recover. I don't know how the country's going to recover. Or globally recover from any of this.
You can still get a pizza delivered to your house.
You can still get a pizza delivered to your house. So we'll go. We'll. I mean, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to touch on this. But was there anything on Raw that you liked?
I did love the Edge promo. And listen, I'm a fan of like Gonzo stuff, and I'm a fan of Mr. Gonzo. So the Austin thing I really enjoyed with him and Byron, and you know what, like, just to see him stun Byron Saxton, great. I'm very happy with that. You know what I didn't like on Raw?
What?
And this is a dopey gripe. I thought the Becky monster Big Rig
my god,
was a waste of money.
Why did they do that? Why did they do a Becky Big Rig?
I feel like they were probably planning it for like a month, and then this stuff happened, and it was like just a weak sauce,
Yeah.
What about you?
I thought the show was bizarre, and I don't know how they're going to sustain doing it this way moving forward. I really don't think this is a sustainable way to produce content. I'm very surprised at it. I'm really surprised that this is the direction that they've gone through. Why not take a couple weeks off, and just have best ofs or in studio shows? You could sustain that for a couple of weeks, but they're just chugging along. They're just moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. How bad do you think Vince is freaking out right now?
Oh, tremendously.
The character of Vince McMahon.
I think the character has lost his mind, but I think Vince himself is really losing it. And by the way, we're going to see what happens with AEW because they have a show tomorrow. They have a big show tomorrow. And what are they going to do? Because they cannot have more than 50 people in that venue, apparently.
Well, tomorrow was tomorrow supposed to be the Blood and Guts show?
Tomorrow was the match to set up Blood and Guts. No? Yeah, because it was a show in Rochester tomorrow, and then the following week would have been in Jersey, and that would have been the Blood and Guts show.
Okay, so tomorrow's show in Rochester, would have potentially been the debut of Brody Lee.
Would have been the debut of Brody Lee, most likely, yeah. And the following
Are we still
week,
broadcasting?
No, we're off.
Oh,
we're not live. Yeah, we're not live. For some reason, it's pouring here, and I think it's affecting the internet. So
Oh my God, it is raining. Are we recording still?
Yeah. We're still live. We're
Suncat,
still
get this.
recording.
Edit this part out.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're gonna see where it goes, but they're gonna have a show. I'm very curious how they're gonna present this for AEW because they're in a
Mhm.
much larger building. It's funny that their performance center is the Jacksonville Jaguars training facility.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's like a 4,000 person building. So I'm curious how they're gonna present it. Luckily for them, that one shot is the wall.
Mhm. Right.
So it's not going to be surrounded by emptiness. A lot that the building is set up in a weird way where it's set up that way. I find it interesting. I'm very curious how they're going to present this, but essentially the whole world is shut down except for wrestling. That's the only form of sports you could really watch, that and like Pakistani cricket.
That's pretty fantastic. I gotta say, you know what I think AEW would be a good idea for AEW, since they love breaking the fourth wall and they like doing like the meta stuff sometimes. It's like the Young Bucks. If they had the roster just petered throughout the audience and they pop for
Yeah.
whoever's coming out, break kayfabe completely, and just kind of do like a 2-hour episode of Being the Elite, like a
Yeah.
live BTE, and then just curse a bunch.
I'm curious who they're flying out too, because I'm sure a lot of people don't want to fly.
That is true. I mean, like, would you
Yeah.
want to? And like, you're not a big fan of flying in general, right?
You know what? I have to tell you, I really, over the last couple of years, I started enjoying it a lot more.
Mhm.
And that's only because other people have paid for my first class tickets.
Oh, fancy.
So,
Mr.
yeah,
Fancy Man.
yeah, work generally pays for it. So my flying experience has been a lot better, but I would not want to be flying coach in this, with people just coughing up blood all over you,
But would
which
you
they
fly
normally do, by the way.
somewhere?
They
That is
normally do
true.
that.
But would you fly somewhere with Coach?
Jonathan Coachman, yes, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, I would. I know that
it's pretty nuts.
I know that generally the way that we do the show,
Mhm.
we have viewer questions, but we can't do that because our connection is all screwed up today for whatever reason. I think it's because of the weather here in New York. But
Mhm.
I kind of want to present some answers to people that I've gotten over the last couple of weeks. If you want to do that, Rich.
I'm good. I'm cool with
Okay.
that, man.
So the big question is Matt Hardy for AEW right now, right? What's going to happen with Matt
Mhm.
Hardy? Matt Hardy's going to AEW, so it's a matter of when they debut
Okay.
him. It could possibly be tomorrow because we're supposed to find out who the Exalted One is for the Dark Order.
Mhm.
So it's very possible it's him. In a swerve, it may not be. Who knows?
Might be Brody Lee.
It may be Brody Lee. It may be It could be nobody. It could just be a manager. So we don't know. Oh, look at this. 4,000 people in New York have been tested for this. We don't know what they're going to do with that, but I'm kind of excited not knowing. I kind of like the whole unknown aspect of who they're picking for this.
Imagine if it was Teddy DeBias.
Teddy DeBias would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just showed, because like you know what? It's funny. It's like they're really starting to use the legends, right? Like, can you even call them legends in AEW?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Like, or does WWE own the legends like moniker?
Yeah,
Uh,
so no, they don't own the Legends moniker.
Because you have Arn, you have Tully, you have
Jake?
DDP, you got Jake now.
Yeah.
Um, Bret Hart
Brett was
presented.
there.
Brett was there. Brett presented the title. I'm still saying, like, you're gonna get a couple of more. The Rock and Roll Express, right? The they did something, right?
The Rock and Roll Express has done a lot, yeah, and they're supposed to do a little bit more from what I know.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see what other legends show up, or if they use some kind of legend as the leader of the Dark Order. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, yeah, Mick Foley they
Foley.
could use. I would love Mick Foley. Can you imagine Mick Foley as the leader of the Dark Order?
As Mankind, I
Yeah.
would love that.
Like a
100%.
Mankind-ish character.
See, the thing with Matt Hardy being the Exalted One doesn't really fit with the broken Matt Hardy character, right?
It doesn't. No. So what does?
I think if they gave Harper a tweak, absolutely, right?
I think
Brody
Well,
Lee.
here's the thing: we don't know what Brody Lee is capable of, right? Like we haven't seen. We know that he's a great worker and he was phenomenal on the independents, but this is his moment to shine. He really didn't have any possible speaking elements in WWE. He was not a speaker. He was just a swamp guy. So, do you
Um,
think? What do you think his capability would be to be kind of be given this green light of this deep character?
well, no, before we get into all of that, is it confirmed that he even signed with AEW?
Yeah, that's confirmed.
That Brody Lee is all elite,
I
or
don't know if they said it, but I mean it's pretty confirmed.
it's like a given, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you can have see that's the thing. Like if he's the exalted one, I'd be okay with that. But I do think he's gonna end up being Mox's heavy.
That's interesting. I wonder if he'll be a babyface or a heel. Because what have they done? Most of the people that have debuted are heels,
Give
right?
me an example.
Lance Archer, heel.
Okay,
When
Sean Spears.
When John Moxley came in, he came in as a heel because he
Yes,
attacked Kenny. Sean Spears, heel. So a lot of these guys have come in as a heel. So
Jake came in as a heel.
who did?
Jake.
Jake Roberts now as a heel, and how about what's his name? From Ring of Honor. Why is my brain stop? Why did my brain stop working? He faced John Moxley a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah, my brain is.
I lost capacity to think right now as well. I
Yeah,
think we both got infected.
yeah, it's possible. Um,
Um, yeah,
so
PCO.
no, PCO has not been. I would love to see PCO there.
I want to see PC. I want to see Nick Aldis. I feel like what's gonna happen is,
Jeff Cobb,
um,
sorry man, my
Jeff
brain
Cobb.
just
Yeah,
stopped. Yeah, Jeff Cobb came in as a heel.
you're gonna get some interesting stuff. I think in the world of wrestling, as if it hasn't been interesting enough. But I got a question for you.
Yes.
Financially, now, is this could this potentially be a blow to AEW because they're gonna have to kind of scramble, and are they gonna start losing the ratings to NXT because NXT already has that built-in system with the Performance Center? Like they could perpetually run shows from there until the end of time.
Well, they also could run. AEW is going to be able to run Jacksonville, that building.
Okay.
So, but I do think that this is putting a hinder on the momentum for
Okay.
AEW. This is definitely going to play a part in the momentum, and of how things are going to go. I don't think there's a positive to any of this for anybody, but the blowback and the negativity is it's really gonna make sense when we find out how long this quarantine concept is gonna be. These empty arena shows. I think maybe they're gonna start lightening it up and say, okay, well, you could have up to 500 people in the building, and then you could do 1,000. They're gonna slowly kind of bring back the
Hmm.
fans. But I mean, this is a global catastrophe more than anything else. So, how does baseball come back from this? How does basketball come back?
That's true.
Right now, we're how does hockey come back? We've noticed that whenever there's been a strike, for example, the following season, we've seen a major decline in attendance and revenue for these companies. So there is going to be a major hit, top to bottom. It just depends on the collateral damage moving forward. So I think for WWE, they're going to be fine. They're just moving forward. They just gotta. I don't think these empty building shows are working.
Hmm.
They're just doing shows for nothing at this point. One match, and there's been no continuity for storyline other than Edge. They did a little bit, but it's not really. How do you do that with nobody in the building?
Are you gonna have a last man standing match with nobody in the building? I mean, The Rock and McFoley did it, right?
They did it, but it was one match. Can you watch WrestleMania for 6 hours like that?
Would you care? Like, what does it rub you the wrong way that they're gonna do a empty arena last man standing match between Edge and Orton and Edge's debut match back to the company? That's kind of a letdown, right?
I think, yeah, in an empty building. You know what? I think that match is gonna work. Um,
Hmm.
I think that match will work. I think a lot of the other matches won't. Like your idea of like, what if Undertaker and AJ Styles had a match in a graveyard? That's freaking great. Why
Right.
not? Why not at this point? What's the difference? There's no audience. You're
Hmm.
watching at home. At least have some smoke and mirrors. Literally, smoke and mirrors.
They have the opportunity to produce something pretty cool if they wanted to.
With everything. So I don't think they are thinking that way. I think at this
Mm.
point they're thinking we just want to get through this to continue the story. Because remember, you delay WrestleMania. How do you tell the story moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, like it's tough for them to put it on hold because you need the content. I don't even think it's continuity at this point. I think it's just content and um, everything that kind of goes along with that. Like, do you think in terms of like how the ratings have been doing and how the product has been received, do you think Fox is reconsidering their investment at this point too?
No, because right now they're the only live content that they have on that as far as production goes.
Besides the news.
Besides the news, they are a tremendous value to Fox and Fox Sports. More than
Mhm.
anything, it's Fox Sports, right? Forget about
Yeah.
Fox Networks, but Fox Sports, they are the only live produced product, and the same goes for NBC. They are the only live produced product. So
Mhm.
I think Vince McMahon's philosophy here is that if we're the only thing on, people are going to watch us, which
Right.
I do.
Right.
And I get that philosophy 100%. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, right? Like you
Mhm.
for example, Rich, like you're not a big sports fan. You're a baseball fan, right?
Hey,
You
baseball and
watch baseball.
basketball. Yeah.
Baseball, basketball. Same with me. There's not going to be baseball on coming in a few weeks. There's going to be no
Yeah.
basketball. There's no basketball on. So what is our other product that we're going to watch? Most likely it's going to be
Razzling.
WWE. Yeah, it's going to be wrestling because and you got to also see that a lot of times they compete with other live products.
Right.
Not only is live sports canceled, but production on film, on movies and on TV shows,
Oh my god.
live like the SNL is delayed, canceled right now. So
Yeah.
this is a very unique moment for WWE. And listen, I'm not saying that they're doing this to benefit from it, but they are providing live sports, live action sports on some capacity for
Hmm.
people to watch. You know,
Yeah.
I
Movie releases are being delayed. Like everything. It's crazy how everything has shut down in the last week,
everything has shut down.
and it's
Um,
crazy how easily everything got shut down in the last week.
yeah. So listen, you could say that this is a draconian way of governing more than
Hmm.
anything else. The measures that the government has taken for this, I'm not gonna. I don't know what they know, and you don't know what they know. So
Right. Right.
if this is the approach they're taking,
Hmm.
it has to be pretty serious. Unless we have an total incompetence, a collapse in incompetence across the
Hmm.
board between all the parties. So, and I don't think that's the case here.
You want to hear another conspiracy theory?
Give it to me, baby.
So there's a scientific conspiracy theory that says that anytime there is a technological breakthrough that is a worldwide change, a epidemic happens.
Interesting.
And within the last month, 5G is being rolled out.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's 5G. So I have to tell you, the correlation between 5G causing a virus. I tell you something. You know how many people have asked me this? Like everyday people,
Hmm.
not like internet people. Which I would say that some of the questions that people ask on the internet are like wholesomely dumb. You know,
Internet people. Yeah.
internet people are wholesomely dumb sometimes. Like normal people have come up to me and be like, "Do
Mhm.
you think 5G caused this?" And I said, how would 5G cause a virus to happen in Wuhan, China,
Mhm.
and then spread to the rest of the world? They're like, I don't know. I read it on Facebook. you know,
I,
talking about 5G. Rich's internet is now dying. There you go. Are you back?
I'm back. I'm here.
Oh yeah, you became a robot when I said.
Every time we talk about those conspiracies, it starts to freeze up a little bit.
Yeah. It's listening.
Hmm.
Dude, I don't know. It's gonna get better, and then we're gonna move forward with it, and that's it. You know what can you do?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, like you know what it is like for the folks I know that bust their butt at a job that they don't like, and now that they get to take like a couple of weeks off, I think that's good for them. I feel bad for the folks that live paycheck to paycheck that
yeah,
are like, oh crap, like what am I gonna do now?
and I have
Like
to
one
tell
of the
you,
people.
there are people, and you hit the nail on the head with this. There are people not only like they don't make enough money and they live paycheck to paycheck. Do you know how many people I
Mhm.
know that are in positions of wealth that most likely have maybe 1 or 2 months of savings to get them through?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have people under you, that kind of keep the gears moving. You have intern deacon, so
I
you're
have
pretty
intern
set
deacon.
for the
Yeah,
next 3 months.
yeah, because he's free. I'm not paying him jack shit.
But
Listen,
like
it's gonna
my
only get better.
God,
No, it's only
yeah,
gonna get
I
better.
think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be
Nothing to see here. It's all good. We did want to just do like a quick show here.
yeah.
There's not a lot of news. Obviously, also all these events, independent wrestling is taking a huge hit right now.
Mhm.
With all these events getting canceled. WrestleCon, did you see that issue with the Marriott they're having for
Oh my
WrestleCon?
God. Yeah.
Marriott is refusing to give them their money back and is telling them that they could put the event on and is not canceling their agreement. I mean, it's crazy. Listen, it's an impossibility to put together an event right now. You have all these restrictions in place. There's going to be no point of
Hmm.
success. So, all these independent, listen, it's only going to get better. It's not going to get, we're not going to be quarantined for the next year. I
Exactly.
promise you guys this.
Do you think
Yeah.
we're going to see the return of speakeasies and underground fight clubs?
I gotta send you an email because I have one right now that a friend of ours is starting.
A speakeasy or an underground fight club?
Both.
Is it Steve?
No, but you're very close.
Really?
Very close.
Come and join my fight club, dude.
Yeah.
come, come and join my speakeasy, bro. You should do a speakeasy at your place, man.
I could, yeah. I could do it.
That'd be
So
great.
we just wanted to do a quick show here. Richard, I think next week. You think next week you'll be in?
Yeah, maybe we'll see how it goes.
How I feel? How
we'll
this
see how
pandemic goes?
we'll see how you feel once you stop coughing. We'll see how you feel. How was press yesterday?
It was wonderful. Everybody was out. We were just getting drunk. It was like a last hurrah.
How
Everybody
many
was
people were there?
belligerent. You know what's funny? When I got there around noon, it was slow, but when I left around 3 o'clock, the bar was
Hmm.
packed.
Yeah, just everybody
Packed.
breathing on each other.
Everybody at that point was like, you know what? What the fuck? We got a couple hours left of this. Let's just go out and get drunk. People are doing shots, and then already people are talking about like how they're gonna drink together.
Oh
One
my
bar is
God.
saying that they're gonna open the basement open, and you got to like know the code. It's invite only. Another one came up with the concept of, well, it's not illegal if you don't take money, and we just do drink tickets.
Oh boy.
I was like, oh my! I'm like, leave it to degenerate Bayside Queens to be
Absolutely.
worried about our alcohol consumption. I think it's awesome.
Where am I gonna get my cocaine from?
Where am I going to get that's abundant. They're still doing the deliveries.
Listen, drug dealers are, God bless them. They're never gonna take it down.
Yeah, they're recession proof. These guys.
Yeah,
They're like the post office. Rain, sleet, and snow. They still deliver.
I know.
Um,
I gotta make my way out. I gotta head to the post office and the bank today.
sorry,
Hmm.
sorry, man. So that's it for this week, guys. Listen, if you want to help us out in this terrible time, you can fund us on Patreon, patreon.com/Mattman Podcast. You can fund us there as little as $1 per month. It gets us a long way. You know, we're trying to we're gonna see what happens over the next couple of weeks, and it's not gonna be cushy. I'll tell you that. You can
Yeah.
follow.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like it'll people in New York. It's people are getting a little nuts. I don't know how it is for the rest of the country, but like I'm glad to see that you're doing okay.
I'm hanging in there. And you guys should also go to our website, jfknetwork.com. Subscribe to us. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Obviously, we could not do this show live because it fell apart for some reason. I'm going to reboot the internet. I have no idea what's happening here. Could have been YouTube. It could have been me. I don't know. But I have to do What the Tech today, and then I am. That's it. I turn into a pumpkin and I go to bed for the next 18 hours. That's how it
Awesome.
works. All right, guys. See you next time. Take care.